But talk about balance, and then also the role that balance has in rules. Like, what rules can we follow anymore at quarterback, where you had always heard horizontal L, vertical L, step to target, these different things. What is your relationship with rules, and what is your relationship with how that plays into staying balanced at all times?
Yeah, so like I went through like a major change. And it's funny, like I go back and I watch my high school tape and I was much more rhythmic and much more like non-robotical, loose. And it's like that whole thing of when you go through the evolution and then all these people are all like, to your thing, like back in the day, like all these people are like, oh, you're 6'5", you're 230, like you got to have a big arm and you got to bulk up and you got to get strong and you got to be all these things. And like, I think that was all part of like me getting even longer and longer throughout my life in terms of like my feet getting long and my upper body getting long. So like I went through a super crazy process of like really shortening my thing up, and it took me through stages and I realized the different stages, but I also realized like how important feel was. And we, like you said, like we talk about this, like how important feel was and like being cognizant of certain movements. And like for me, I'm fortunate enough to have still enough arm talent where I don't need to create any momentum. And most people don't either. But in order to have played at my, like, to have continued to do what I did well and not have to try to change a bunch of things, I could still throw the ball as hard, if not harder, than I did before with
Right.
a shorter, more compact, less room for error in all assets, from the feet to the arms, the head, to the lean, to the back, to everything. Like just getting rid of all the fat and really just focusing on like the freaking fillet and getting, getting to that and just being able to repeat that over and over again until it became muscle memory, the old 10,000 hour rule, right? So
Yep.
I went through a really cool process, but what that did is it allowed me to develop a feeling, like to the point where at release, based upon where my fingers go and how my fingers react, like I can tell you, I could close my eyes and be like, that ball spun the laces off that thing, or I'd be like, oh, that probably had a little tail. And like I guarantee you, well, I can call a guy up right now that could be like, yeah, 100%. So like that's the point. And like when you get back to that thing, like that's that point of like feeling and developing that for me. But yeah, like I don't think that there really are rules, dude. Like, I mean, to your point, like staying back, like that's a great thing. But like, I just think it's all about, I think balance handles all that. Like if you're balanced and you're in an athletic position and you focus on turning as opposed to shifting your weight forward, up, down, trying to create power, like you should be able to hitch in place and throw a 5-yard out and hitch in place and throw a 45-yard post. Like if you are in tune and all you do is violently to throw the post, you just violently rotate harder, as opposed to the hitch, you don't have to rotate as hard. Like that was what clicked for me, if that made sense. And I just lived in that box of like staying down, staying athletic, and just rotating and trusting my turn and having my turn on time. And then I just lifted the football and threw it, as opposed to striding long, like you said, L, bang. Like I just kept the ball right here. And when it was go time, I lifted it and threw it. Like that's it. And it was crazy when it clicked for me, dude, because it's like, I say this now, like I can, because I've just cut out all this wasted movement and room for error, like I could not throw a football for 5 months and like go out, have 10 warm-up throws and be like, yeah, I could throw it just as good as I've ever been able to throw it. And like,
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, truly though, dude, because you get back in that like natural space, like you just trust the parts of your body that were supposed to allow you to do that, right? Your hips, your turn, your rotator cuff, not your labrum. Like you start getting into that world of all those things. And it's like, at the end of the day, that's like the way your body's designed to function, to operate optimally within a throwing motion. You know what I mean? So like just getting natural.